Mom. You were so loud.
My mom,
Heidi Vaydas,
gave me the best advice I ever received. As I was transitioning from being a teenager to a young adult, she said that all young people have a bucket of water, that's all of their energy. Sadly, out of the 5 plants of life or 5 buckets of life, they only water or nourish 1 plant, leaving the other 4 malnourished.
We want to share with you the 5 plants of life. The first one is soul.
The second one is self.
Third, social.
4th, supply.
And the last one is going to be serve. And Jake and I have really architected our lives around these 5 growing beautiful plants. And we've learned to water them, and it's really the tool, the habits, the goals, all of that to help us live the beautiful, best life we can possibly live.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Kalia.
And
we are the Vaydas.
The first one is soul, and that's your connection to God. Kaylee, what do you do to nourish the plant of soul?
That's a very good question. Well, you can have multiple different habits for soul, but for me, what I do in the morning is I wake up, let's skip the yoga, that's for later, but I sit down on my bed and I read my Bible, and I actually read a book after my Bible that kind of helps me connect with God in a new, different way from an author. So that's what I do.
Yeah, and even if you don't believe in God, how are you connecting to something bigger than yourself, your spirituality? So for me, I do believe in God, so I do read my Bible, but then I also journal, and that's my way of connecting with God and my soul. How am I doing? Kaylee always says body check. Like, how's my mind doing? How's my body doing?
Your heart.
And that's the way of making sure I'm not too anxious or running too fast. And then I usually pray, which is another way of just slowly throwing out all the tasks in my life and meditate on what I actually care about.
The second one is self, and that's knowing and growing you.
And this plant or this bucket, usually there's a lot of habits that go with it. For example, for us, that's food, that is working out, that's reading books. And those 3 things are ones that we really focus on almost every single day, 4 or 5 times a week. We try to get those habits done. Right. So before I get to work every day, before 9 a.m., I actually read a book. I know you do the same.
Yes, sir.
And then of course we work out, yoga, all of that stuff.
I love yoga, dude. Yeah, I wake up, I do my yoga, and I even do a meditation after that. And then, like I said, I read, and then I read my Bible.
And so many people, so many business guys are making millions of dollars, but then they have a heart attack at 45 years old. Yikes. Or women, they have a stroke or whatever it is. And all of a sudden, like, they realize, shoot, I've been doing all these habits, nourishing supply, which is money, and growing my career.
But neglecting
everything. Maybe soul, but especially yourself. Like, we have to be treating our bodies with the same respect that we treat the other plants of life.
Right, being aware. The third plant bucket is social, and that's basically loving your family, loving your friend. This is by far one of my favorite. I mean, we both value this, of course, but I just love being available and making time for the people that I love the most, and that's really important to me.
I always think about my funeral, or even lying on my deathbed and thinking, okay, who do I want at my funeral? Who do I want around my deathbed? Like, let's be honest, the other 4 buckets of money and self and soul does matter. But this one, for me, I go back to, and I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I have a good legacy with the people that I love the most. But that's super hard on a regular schedule to nourish your relationships, especially for us guys, let's be honest. One of my habits here is I have to have a weekly phone call with someone in my family. I don't live close to any of my family. They're all at least 1,000 miles away. So this is my way of being intentional with them. And I'm not so great at the friend part of being intentional with my friends. So I'm learning how to do that. And if it wasn't for this, knowing that's a plant, I would not nourish this at all. And then I would just be lonely all the time. So I'm glad that I'm at least nourishing it a little bit.
I would say this is a little easier for me versus Jake, but it's really easy to be distracted or to get so caught up in other things. You're like, oh my gosh, I haven't checked in with these few people that are really important to me in like a few weeks. So for me, my challenge is like, hey, continue to be available, continue to check in every week with those people that are really in your circle that I really love and care about, and I want to have in my life forever, as the cat is talking to us.
The fourth one is supply. This is how you supply the rest of your life, maximizing career and finances.
Jake's favorite.
This is one of my favorites, I think, because as a young guy, this does come naturally to me. I'm looking at what is the responsibility that I want in my life. What's the big thing that I can stress over a little bit? I can have even a little bit of anxiety saying, I am going to own this piece of the world, and I'm not going to make any excuses for this. For me, I'm a pastor, and I say, okay, this is my 100. Our church is a little bit bigger, so we have 500 students. These are my students. Like, I am a safety blanket for their lives. I'm partnering with their parents. And how can I, in every way, give them the best childhood and the best base for their faith as they go forward in life? And I take this so seriously. And yes, money comes with it. I want to make sure I'm good at my job so that I can get raises, so I can supply my wife and our future family as well.
And it's a little difficult for me. I mean, it's not just futuristic people that are great at this stuff like Jake is. I love being in the present. I want to make sure that I love people well and that we're able to do the dreams that we want and have fun, blah, blah, blah. But this one's difficult for me, but having a great partner who's great at it, I've been learning a lot, and I've realized that it really is important. I cannot neglect this plant bucket.
And what happens with these habits, oftentimes for us, it's to check our weekly transactions. We don't do that now. We used to do that. Now we're better with our money, so we don't have to do it. Another one for this one is to say, okay, I'm going to start work every day at 9 a.m. But it's habits that your boss doesn't set for you, that you say, this is how I'm going to own this responsibility in the world, this little piece that I say, I am going to own this.
Yeah. The fifth one is serve, creatively getting the world closer to good. One of our mantras, but the one that's most important to me, is seeking and seizing ways to love people big. All the dreams that I have, that's what I dwindle them all down to for me, is how do I love people big in the small ways and in the big ways, but I think the small is also wrapped up in the big ways. So yeah, for me, it's, in my everyday life, every week, every month, how can I be creative with how I'm loving people, letting them know that I care about them and I'm here for them.
Even with supply, this actually matches with that, because 10% of everything we've ever earned, we have given it to charity, and that's just one way that we say, okay, this is how we're going to serve. Like, that's going to add up to hopefully hundreds of thousands of dollars over our career. And to say like, yeah, we helped people. We sponsor someone thanks to Kalia in Africa. Like, these are just ways for us to serve other people. Yes, in our everyday lives, but also on like a bigger scale.
Right.
Go ahead.
It's like financially generous, but it's also being relationally generous. It's all about that we are talking about.
Yeah, for me, I'm like, okay, what's one way that I can love Kalia every single week that's maybe out of the norm? Is it giving her flowers? Is it doing the dishes this one day? Is it, but yeah, that's one way that how can I serve the people that I love the most and also the world around me.
Right. If this video spoke to you, we actually created a video that talks about us kind of watering these plants, these buckets, in our morning routine. And we made a morning routine video, and you can click on that and check it out.
Thanks so much for joining us. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We make these videos every single week, and they're awesome. We haven't the last couple weeks, but we're getting back on the saddle.
We're back.
We're gonna be killing it. We back, baby. Let's go. All right, well, we love you all. We'll see you soon.
See you later.